Hey guys, okay, so the other day I uploaded this reel onto Instagram, which I'm going to show you now. How I go about preparing for a DJ set. First I make a list of all the music I like in a Spotify playlist. I go to Beatport and iTunes and download all the music I like and put it on a folder on my hard drive. Then run all the music through a program called Platinum Notes, which equalizes the volume of all the tracks so they're all the same volume. I then run all the tracks through a program called Mix and Key, so it'll tell me the BPM and the key of all tracks. I then load the tracks into Recordbox and sort them into an order I think would work best based on the key and the energy level of the track. I now load the tracks into my DJ decks and spin for an hour, seeing which tracks work and eliminating what tracks don't work, and also setting memory points so I have a good idea of where I could transition every single track. Finally, once I've been through my DJ set and I put my memory points in, I then export it to USB from my DJ set. And this reel, in the comments, everyone's saying, please can you expand on this more in a YouTube video? So I'm going to do that in this video here. So, as you know, I've got a DJ set coming up in Ministry of Sound, and a lot of people are saying, how do you prepare for it, okay? So the first thing I need to stress is this is not like a regular DJ set. Like, if you're doing a, an open format event or a wedding or something like that, this is completely different, okay? Because if you go and do a wedding, what you're essentially doing... So where the light, is it backlit? No. What you're essentially doing if you're in a wedding or something like that is you're just watching the audience and you're playing what they like. So 1 minute you might be playing Motown, the next minute you might be playing, party anthems, whatever, right? However, when you go and play a club like Ministry of Sound and you're given a 1 hour set and you know it's going to be a house event and the organizer said we want you playing house music, this is completely different. At this point, I play whatever I want to play. I mean, this is the freaking awesome thing about kind of getting to this level is you turn up and you play the music you love. Anyway, without going into too much detail, what I'm saying is everything I've done here is very premeditated. I know exactly what song I'm going to be playing, what order. I even pretty much know where I'm going to be doing a lot of my transitions. So you have to be aware of that before I show you this. So it starts over here. First thing I do is I come onto things like Spotify, and I get a playlist of all my favorite music, okay? So I'm constantly just adding music to this list. By the way, you can follow this list if you want. If you type in Bass House Hits, Phil Harris, you can go and listen to my list of my favorite tracks. Not only that, but I also go through my own Instagram and find some mashups I've done in the past. But I'm not going to be doing those mashups live. So some of the mashups, which maybe I'll go through in a different video, if you want me to go through this, leave a comment below. I actually just pre-mashed them up in Ableton. So now I just go and press play and the song plays as normal, rather than trying to layer stuff on the DJ decks live, okay? So I got all this music ready. Then once I had this playlist ready, the next thing I did is I then went to Beatport. And I went through and found all these songs and downloaded them. If they weren't on Beatport, I went somewhere like iTunes and downloaded it from there as well. And I put it into a folder on my desktop, okay? Now, once I had it on the folder on the desktop, I then had to go and actually prepare it for a DJ set, which I do on this computer over here, okay? So, what I did was I opened it up, and if you kind of come around this side, I'll show you. What I did is, first thing I do is I put it through a software called Platinum Notes 4. This might be an older version of Platinum Notes now. I don't know if there's a newer version, but all you need to know, I'm going to see if I can just ignore that. All you need to know is what Platinum Notes does is it gets all the volume levels right, okay? So what I mean by volume levels is all the tracks are the same volume, right? Because if you don't do this, you find yourself having to play with the trim knobs a lot while you're DJing, because some songs are just randomly quieter than others, and it's quite disruptive when all you want to do is DJ, right? So what Platinum Notes does is it takes all these songs and it just equalizes them so they're the same volume. Now, the other interesting thing you need to know about this is what Platinum Notes does is makes a duplicate of that file. So if I've got a folder called Ministry of Sound, I make another folder called Ministry of Sound Platinum Notes. I select that file, and what happens when I drag songs in, it equalizes them, creating a second version which all go into a separate file. Then I take those and I run them through some software called Mix in Key, so I can find out the key, the BPM, and all this kind of stuff. I have to do Mix in Key after Platinum Notes because, as I said, they're new files once they've gone through Platinum Notes. Now, a lot of people said, why do you use Mix in Key? You know, things like Recordbox, Serato, things like that, they come with built-in analytical software which will tell you BPM and key. Long story short, I've always used Mix in Key. If you look at the figures, which may have been released by Mix in Key, by the way, they are statistically correct about the key more than the other softwares, okay? They all will get keys wrong quite a lot, but mixing key is all they do, mixing key. They just do this software, right? So there's a higher chance they're going to get it right. And I trust it. I know a ton of other DJs, David Guetta, James Hype, they all run their stuff through mixing key as well. And there's just a higher chance they're going to get that key right. So I run it through there. That will attach the knowledge of like BPM and key to the file. Then when you load that file into Rekordbox, it will load into Rekordbox with all that information. So the key and the BPM is now the information from mixing key. It's not analyzed. You do have to go and you change the setting and the preferences somewhere, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. Now I've got all the music in Rekordbox, but it's just in a random order, right? And you have to think about the order you want the songs to be when you're doing a DJ set like this. So the next thing I do is I literally sit in front of this playlist here and I literally order the tracks almost, if I'm honest, just in my favorite order. Like, what are my favorite tracks? What are my least favorite tracks, right? And I'm going to come in with my absolute favorite ones. So I do that at the start and I just kind of order them in kind of order of like what I like, what I don't like. That is surprisingly one of the longest parts of this process, by the way. And once I've kind of done it, I then will find that a lot of the tracks I don't like so much have kind of floated down to the bottom, and I go through and I listen to the track. So I drag it up, listen to it, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, drag the next track in. Does this sound like it would flow? Right, next track. And I kind of go through and I'm really kind of like, take my time doing this. This is where I then start making note of things like key. If there's a couple of songs floating around, I'll then look at the key and I go, right, maybe that one should go after that one because they're in the same key. Maybe this one should go after this one because they're in the same key. But I don't stress too much about the keys, if I'm honest, because the music I'm DJing is kind of tech house music and they got kind of long drum intros. So I don't worry too much about clashing keys, if I'm honest, but I do kind of take it into account, you know, and I kind of think, oh, maybe I should put this song after this song. Once I've done that, I then load the songs into the software. So I connect Rekordbox to the CDJs, and then I spin for, honestly, you know, a good couple of hours. And I'll say, that song doesn't really go after that song there, and I may go and reorder them there, okay? When I'm spinning on the DJ decks, I'm also adding in memory points. Memory points for roughly where I might do the transitions, right? And I may add 1 or 2 memory points. Like, oh, if people are liking this song, I won't transition here, I'll transition at the end, right? And I put another memory point. But I've kind of got these memory points so I can see where I'm going to press play on the track and where roughly I will be transitioning out. Now, once you do this, if you come and have a look at Rekordbox again, the way it works is it'll add all these little memory points onto the files, right? Once I've done this, and you can see these little memory points here, I will then export to a USB. So, you know, that's the easy bit. You just put the USB in and you export to the USB. I always export to 2 USBs just in case if you're turning up to the club and one doesn't work. You want to have 2, right? So I've got 2, and then I take the USBs, plug them both in, and do a run through of the DJ set with both USBs to make sure they all completely work. And that is my process of how I do this. There is one last thing which I do want to note. Sometimes there's some tracks that don't have a very long intro, right? There's like, you know, literally 4 bars of an intro, and I want that to be longer. If I want it to be longer, I take that track, I put it into Ableton, and I literally extend the intro. So I'll take it 4 bars at the beginning and duplicate it back so it's just got a much longer, more like 16 or 32 bar intro. Then I export it, go through the entire process again, platinum notes, mixing key, straight back into the program, and I switch it out because everything's got to be easy for me, right? And I don't want to have to remember, oh, that song, it hasn't got a very long intro, so I have to set a loop on that one. Because that's just stressful, and I want to be enjoying myself and making this as easy as possible for myself. And so that's my kind of final thoughts for you as well. Pre-mixing the mashups, extending intros, running it through mix and key and platinum notes. The reason I do all of this stuff is so it's easier to do this, right? Because I will be DJing live. I will be mixing one track into the other. When you get right to the top, you're not even doing that. Like, I mean, but we're not going to get into that. But I want to make this easy, and that would be my main advice to you. Hopefully this video has helped. Hopefully I haven't rambled too much. As per usual, I've got freaking awesome courses on everything you need to know about DJing, beginnerdjlessons.com. You can go and check it out there. And if any of you want to learn how to make your own dance music and you want to know how to do edits on Ableton, I have a full course to teach you how to do it. If you go to edmcoaching.com, you can go and there's some free training you can watch right now. If you go and watch that training, and it'll teach you all about making your own dance music. That's everything. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave some thumbs up just to help this video get out there, and leave some comments if you want me to do more tutorials on anything I said specifically in this video. See you next time. Ciao.